home of clickorlando.com. Local 6 News starts now.
Possible human remains are found next to a road, and as the investigation continues, we could learn more about this mystery today. Good morning, I'm Kristin Giannas in for Calla. Thanks for waking up with us. We'll get to our top stories in just a moment, but first, let's say good morning to Julie Broughton and get a look at your Saturday forecast. Julie?
Hey, Kristin, good morning, everyone. Hope your weekend is going well so far. As we're approaching 6 o'clock, we're actually in great shape out there. Clouds and radar for you showing skies are pretty clear, no rain to track, and our chance of rain today does stay pretty low, only around 20%. Now, if you're heading out, taking a walk or a jog, feels pretty pleasant out there. We are sitting at 72 degrees out at the airport in Orlando, but some spots are even a little bit cooler than that with 68 in Palm Coast, 68 in Ocala. And if you are in Melbourne, you are at 75 degrees. Heading out to the theme parks today, not a bad day to do so. Only a few isolated showers as we move through the day. Here's what's happening out at Disney, 74 degrees at 9 o'clock. We zip you over the Magic Kingdom up towards Cinderella's Castle, where at noon we're talking about 86 degrees. 90 will be our temperature by 4 o'clock. We're talking about that 20% chance of a few isolated showers. Now we have some changes in our forecast, and that chance of rain shoots way up for us. I'll tell you when that happens coming up in less than 10 minutes.
Thanks, Julie. Human remains found in Orange County are in the hands of the medical examiner this morning. And overnight, investigators continue to comb the scene where they were discovered. They were found in the woods near Apopka, Vineland, and Hackney Prairie Roads. Sean Chiba is in Ocoee, where deputies are trying to determine if the remains are connected to the disappearance of missing woman Tracy Ocasio.
You can see right here behind me, deputies have brought in floodlights as they continue to block off this entire section of the road here. They want to keep this area secure, and they want to preserve any evidence that they might have missed right back here until they can continue to search later today. As night fell, Orange County deputies brought in floodlights, hoping to keep their investigation going through the morning. And as deputies secure the area where someone found possible human remains, one family waits for answers. On Facebook, Joe and Liz Ocasio posted a link to our story about the remains and wrote about their missing daughter, Tracy, saying they are hoping and praying for closure, but at the same time, scared. Joe Ocasio arrived at the scene as deputies searched the area with cadaver dogs, on foot, and in the air by helicopter. Deputies say it's too soon to know if that skull found in these woods is Tracy Ocasio.
At this point, we're not going to make any connection. We're just doing what's appropriate and proper to do so in this instance. That would be irresponsible to make that connection. But obviously, there is that thought process going out there.
Crews searched these woods before for signs of Tracy Ocasio, who disappeared 4 years ago. But now, road construction appears to have brought the remains closer to the surface, visible to the workers who spotted them.
So as you push back into the wooded area, that obviously provided an opening, an opportunity for this discovery by the road crew today.
The medical examiner was here and took the remains for more testing. An early determination, they appear to be human. And the medical examiner may very soon identify those remains through dental records. Until then, though, this area will remain closed through the day as they continue to search for more evidence. In Ocoee, Sean Chiabat, Local 6.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office has notified the Ocoee Police Department. They've been handling the investigation of Tracy Ocasio's disappearance. We'll be checking with investigators all weekend long, and we'll have any new updates on Local 6. And on clickorlando.com, we have a history of the Tracy Ocasio case there now. Just look under the top story section on the home page. 2 people were sent to the hospital overnight after a crash in Orange County. Troopers tell Local 6 2 cars were involved and that one person had to be cut out of their car and airlifted to the hospital. They believe the car that caused the crash left the scene. The intersection was closed for several hours overnight as troopers did their investigation. We're still waiting on the official report from the Highway Patrol. If we get any new updates, we'll bring them to you here on Local 6 and on clickorlando.com. Police in Mount Dora say they now know who shot 2 people outside a convenience store, but they're asking for your help to try and track them down. We were there Tuesday, not long after 29-year-old Victor Brown and 44-year-old Stephen Anderson were found with bullet wounds outside the TNN convenience store on North Grandview Street. They're now recovering. Meanwhile, police are trying to find this man, Kendrick Jerome Tate. They say he opened fire on the men after an argument. They think he may still be in the Mount Dora or Eustis area and are hoping someone who knows where he is will come forward. An armed and dangerous man is targeting Central Florida businesses. He struck again yesterday, and investigators in 2 counties want to find him before it happens again. This is surveillance video from his latest crime. Police in Altamont Springs say the man walked into the Walgreens on State Road 436 and Wymore Road. It looks like he's just buying M&Ms, but that's when he pulls out a gun, points it at the clerk, then runs off with cash from the register. Police think the same man may be responsible for several other robberies, including one at 7-Eleven on North Lake Destiny Road in Maitland, a Cumberland Farms on North Bumby Avenue, and a CVS on East Colonial Drive in Orlando. Here's another look at the guy. If you recognize him, call the crime line at 800-423-TIPS. The countdown to a possible government shutdown is on this morning, and it couldn't happen if Congress can't pass a budget before October 1st. The House passed their version of the budget yesterday, but the Senate Democrats say it's dead on arrival because it would defund President Obama's health care law. Susan McGinnis has more.
Vote. The House Republican legislation that funds the government and defunds the president's health care law passed along party lines.
The joint resolution is passed.
House Democrats condemned it.
This place is a mess. Let's get our house in order.
We know what the government can do. This bill doesn't allow the government to do what it can.
House Speaker John Boehner says the resolution is not designed to shut down the government and said it's up to the Senate to keep the government running.
The American people don't want the government shut down, and they don't want Obamacare.
Speaking to auto workers in Missouri, President Obama once again said he would not sign any bill that defunds his health care law.
They're saying we're going to hold our breath, and if you don't repeal it, which I've already said I'm not going to do, we're going to send the economy into default.
The president called Speaker Boehner late Friday to say he will not negotiate debt limit legislation. Boehner responded that Congress will, quote, chart the path ahead. The Senate is expected to vote on its own version of a budget bill early next week. Susan McGinnis, CBS News.
Now to other stories making headlines across America this morning. The CEO of the IT consulting company that employed the gunman in the Washington Navy Yard shootings is offering to help military improve security. In an email, Thomas Hoshko offers his condolences, but he also laid out his work experience and offered his services, saying he could help improve security for the military, contractors, and civilians. Navy officials confirmed that email, but wouldn't talk about what it said. The company also declined to comment. And in Colorado, 4 new spills have been discovered in flooded oil fields, but high waters are keeping crews from starting cleanup operations. The spills found yesterday include 2,400 gallons from a toppled storage tank and almost 900 gallons from an unspecified source. The number of people unaccounted for dropped to around 80. Let's check back in with meteorologist Julie Broughton. She's in the Storm Tracking Center with a quick check of today's forecast. Julie?
Good morning, Kristin. Good morning, everyone. Really, it's a very nice start to our weekend. If you have outdoor plans, today is going to be the best day to get those in because our chance of rain does go up tomorrow. Radar for you sweeping out nice and dry as we start out our Saturday, and rain coverage today stays very low, only around 20%. Now, as you're stepping out the door, actually some of you even a little bit of cool air out there. 73 degrees in Orlando. Daytona Beach, you are at 70, 73 in Melbourne, and Ocala, you're in the 60s, sitting at 68 degrees. Here's what you can expect by 4 o'clock where you live today. Go to a high of 87 in Daytona Beach and 87 in Cocoa Beach. If you are heading to the beaches, we're looking at a high threat of rip currents. 90 in Orlando and 89 will be the high today in the Villages. Rain chances go up to 50% for tomorrow and Monday. I'll break all of this down for you hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Julie. A distinctive piece of our Central Florida landscape needs some help. The Ocala Drive-In movie theater has faced many obstacles since it was first opened in 1948. The latest is the need to upgrade to a digital projector. The cost is simply too much for its owners, but a contest put on Honda Motors will reward 4 drive-in theaters with new projection systems. Theaters with the most votes win. You can help by going to clickorlando.com and casting your vote for the Ocala Drive-In. We've posted a link under Weekend Stories. The contest ends tonight at midnight. A worker ends up trapped in a vat of tar. How rescue crews managed to get him free, coming up in 4 minutes. Plus, the therapy that could be the key to saving lives of men with heart disease. We'll show you what's working in women that now seems to be a breakthrough for men. And a police chief caught on tape hitting a man with his car. What's now happened after this dramatic video became public? After the break. You're watching the Local 6 Morning News covering Kissimmee, Longwood, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.